Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACCUPLACER Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely and fun Sunday. I know I'm here a lot earlier than I usually am, but I figure I've been up all night, so why not? Let's finish out the day with you guys. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at some SAT prep. Yes, now some of the concepts that we're going to be hitting on today is very similar to what you're going to see in some phases of GED, some phases of ASVAB, as well as the ACCUPLACER, and maybe even some other letters in between, depending on any kind of standardized assessment. So if you want, come on in, step in, relax, and let's do some math. All right, so the first one, the scatter plot shows the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit and the distance above sea level in feet measured at 6 locations on Mount Jefferson. A line of best fit is also shown. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So if you take a look at your graph, at the distance of 4,000 feet above sea level, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit predicted by the line of best fit? Is it A? Can you see A? Is it A, 47, B, 35, C, 25, or D, 0? So at the distance of 4,000 feet above sea level, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit predicted by the line of best fit? Is it A, 47, B, 35, C, 25, or D, 0? Hey, Janice, how are you? How is it making your head hurt? We just got started. All right, just look at the chart. All right, so Janice is saying B. Okay, ooh. Is that Monique? Monica? Let me know. Help me to break it on down. All right, so you're saying 35. Clara saying B. Right. Shawty saying B with a question mark. Justin M with B or D. Make a decision. Okay, Nina B. Gracie B. Hey, Gracie, welcome back. What grade level is this? This is for the SAT prep. Okay. Hodgepodge. Okay, you're going to go B. All right, good. And Chris is saying B. Awesome. All right, so the answer is B. Okay, how we can tell? Look here. It says distance above sea level. We're looking at 4,000. And we're going to go up until we hit that dark line, which is right here. And I want to know what's the Y value. So if you notice, it's in between 30 and 40. So roughly, it's obviously not going to be 47 and it's not going to be 0. 25 is down here, so it has to be 35. All right, rectangle P has an area of 72 squared inches. If a rectangle with the area of 20 squared inches is removed from rectangle B, what is the area in squared inches of the resulting figure? Is it A, 92, B, 84, C, 80, or D, 52? Now, also, if you're not sure, okay, Christy is telling me 72. We got B from Potato Man. Okay, D Money saying 52. Never mind. Okay. That's all right. We always can make changes. Go ahead and make changes. All right. Rashonda saying D. Shorty. Get it, shorty. Anyone else is wrong? Okay. All right. So we have D. Nate D. Charlotte D. Okay. Laylee D. All right. Ava saying D. Now, if you're not sure, go ahead and put a question mark in. Don't just run away like, oh, this is too hard for me, and then run off. Because they do have questions like this on the ASVAB, and they'll have something similar when it comes to the GED. Just one. It's usually like one random one, but not exact. Similar. Okay. Thank you for your honesty, guys. Okay. What grade is this? Just wondering because it's kind of easy. Well, this is for the let's say ASVAB. This is for SAT prep. Okay, so it's mostly for SAT prep, and usually they have a progression, just like they I can't even speak. Similar to ASVAB, because ASVAB is a progression test as well as the SATs. Okay, you don't think it's D? All right. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a gander. Let's see if I can do this without disrupting everything. So I don't know about you, but I'm a visual person. So this is going to be rectangle P. And it says it has an area of 72 squared inches. Ooh, that's an ugly 7. All right. But it says if a rectangle with an area of 20 squared inches is removed, it didn't say if it was removed from the center. It just says, 20 squared inches is going to be removed. So I'm going to put that right here. Okay. They want to know what is left. Okay. Because they said if it's removed, what is the area in squared inches? So we're still in squared inches. Nothing's changed. What is the resulting figure? So if we're started off with 72 and we took 20 out, we'll have 52 squared inches left. So your answer is going to be 52. Okay, see, it was D. Good morning, Caribbean Queen. How are you? Okay, yep, it's D, window shopper. Good job. Yep, there you go, D money. Let's go. Let's keep it going. All right, so for number 3, we have the absolute value of P. Don't say LPL. No. Okay, it says the absolute value of P plus 61 equals 65. Which value is the solution to the given equation? Is it A, 65 61st, B, 4, C, 126, or D, 130? Okay, I'm seeing a series of B's and the 4, a B with a question mark. We got some B's. Look at all the B's. Yes, good. Awesome, people. Thank you. There was no guessing whatsoever. Remember, the absolute value is always your distance away from 0. That's why absolute values are always going to be positive. So if you substitute your 4 in, absolute value of 4 is going to be 4. And your 4 plus your 61 will give you your 65. And that's what we want it to equal. So 4 is your answer. All right. Okay. No, I'm not judging you. So like absolute values is basically how far you are away from 0. So let's go with the 4s. So we have positive 4, let's see if you can see that, and negative 4. So my distance away from 0 to here is going to be 4 units. Because it could be any measurement. From here to here is also 4 units. Okay? Yes, you're going in the negative direction, but you still have 4 units. I used to say like, okay, this is my house. This is one friend's house that's 4 blocks away. This is another friend's house that's 4 blocks away. So I know from my house to this friend's house is 4 blocks. From this to here is 4 blocks. No matter the directions are different, but it's still the same distance. That's why absolute values are always going to be positive. So negative, absolute value negative 4 is going to be 4. the absolute value of positive 4 is also 4. Okay. All right. Good. So, yep, you can subtract the 61 on both sides and then take the absolute value. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. You could have done that way too. Yep. Remember, there's more than one way of getting the same answer. So, we have Lorenzo. Okay, he purchased a box of cereal and some strawberries. Ooh, romantic. At the grocery store. Lorenzo paid $2 for the box of cereal and $1.90 per pound for the strawberries. If Lorenzo paid a total of $9.60 for the box of cereal and the strawberries, which of the following equations can be used to find P, the number of pounds of strawberries Lorenzo purchased? Assume there is no sales tax. So is your answer A, B, C, or D? Okay, so Sandy, Nisa, and Wright all saying A. Hotter than the rest saying A. Trey Squared is saying A. G Squared is saying A. Okay, just came in. Hey, all right, welcome in, blank space. Hi. Okay, so is that Kara or Kara? Which one we want to go with? Let me know. Okay, Sade is saying B. Welcome back, Sade. Okay, can you teach me? I think that's what I'm doing. No? Am I hallucinating? Because, I've been up all night. So, all I know is all my laundry is done. The groceries are done. What else is done? Bathroom is done. Vacuuming. That's the best thing. I can vacuum at any time I want to. All right. Okay, let's see. So I have some B's and I have a couple of C's in here, but I have some A's. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see what they're giving us. All right, so we know that he paid $2 for the cereal, $1.50 per pound for the strawberries. There's a total of $9.60. And we want P to represent the number of pounds of strawberries. So if P is going to represent the number of pounds of strawberries, that means that P should be going with the price of the strawberries, which is $1.90. So if I take a look, so far A and B have the P next to the $1.90. So that means C and D is eliminated. Now, there was $2 that they paid for the box of cereal. He's not stealing the box of cereal. He's buying the box of cereal, okay? Because the cost of the strawberries, the cost of the cereal, gives us the total of the $9.60. So our answer choice is A. All right. Hey, Lynette, thanks for checking in. Okay. Some people are starting to get that 5-finger discount. All right. Okay. What's the what? I see the what. Short, what's up? Okay. You see now? Okay. So building up that equation, if you're getting a total, anytime they say total, that should spark something inside you. Total means addition, the sum of. So there should be addition, not subtraction. Okay? So that means if the strawberries cost $1.99 per pound, and we're saying P is representing the number of pounds. So it should be $1.90 P. That's how we got our A. Then the cost of the cereal was $2. His total was $9.60. So it has to equal a $9.60. So that's why it's A, because you're adding the two items to make it equal to $9.60. All right. Okay, let's do another one. Oops. And this one might have to zoom out a little bit. Or zoom so you guys can see. I know it's going to be all kinds of cray. All right, so we have a bar graph. The bar graph summarizes the charge in kilowatt hours a battery received each day for 15 days. For how many of these 15 days did the battery receive a charge of 0 kilowatt hours? Is it A, 0, B, 1, C, 4, or D, 6? Okay, so I'm seeing some D's, I'm seeing some 6s, I'm seeing some 4s. Okay, so I'm seeing some D's and some 6s, a whole bunch of D's are coming through. Okay. So as for the equation, yep. So we're saying D, switching it up to the D's. Okay, we got our A, we got our B's, we got some A's, we have some D's. All right, so let's take a look. Look at the bar graph, okay? Don't make any assumptions. So they want to know for how many of these 15 days, okay, did the battery receive a charge? Notice here, my x-axis is representing the charges of 0 kilowatt hours. So I'm going to go to 0. Boom. Let me see, where's the top of that? That top is hidden here, which is at 6. And remember, look at my y's, it's saying the number of days. And they're asking how many of these days. So it is 6. Okay. If you circle all the answers, you never get it wrong. You didn't have me as a teacher. Oh, see, I don't mind children repeating because I make sure you're in my class. Okay, so there'll be none of that. All right, so a line in the XY plane has a slope of 9 and passes through points 0, -5. The equation y equals px plus r defines the line where p and r are constants. What is the value of p? What is the value of p? Okay. What age range? This is usually like high school. I go live every day. I just go when I want to go on. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to have a schedule now because now I'm starting to get a lot of tutoring clients and that would constantly be canceling. So I just said, shoot, I'm up. Might as well just keep going. We have paid actors in here? Ooh, that's fun. Okay, I don't know. I don't go to school in Canada, so I have no idea. All right. So, take a look. If you notice the equation that they're using, which is y equals px plus r, it's very similar to the equation line, which is y equals mx plus b. Our b is also known as our y-intercept. And the y-intercept is written when the x value is 0 Then you have your y value. They're giving us a point at 0, -5. Notice that P and M are in the same slot. M is our slope, or our rate of change. Okay? So they're telling us what our slope is. The slope is 9. So my answer, I don't need the equation of the line because all they're asking for is what is the value of P. P is in the same slot as M. M is my slope. What's my slope? 9. That's it. Okay. So we have to get to that whole equation of the line. So they gave us our y-intercept, which we don't really need. They just want to know what is going to be the value of P. They want to see, do you know what an equation of a line is? So the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, whereas your m is your slope, your rise over run. They told us in the beginning what our slope was. So they're like, okay, what's P? Well, P's in the same spot as M, and M is my slope, and they told us that our slope is 9. So my answer is 9. Okay. Yep. It's all about those equations, people. It's all about these equations. Okay. Now that, maybe not in that wording, but a problem like that, if I may use GED for example, that's a 4-point question. A question like that for the ASVAB, that is a question that you'll see definitely in the early 40s. If you're scoring like around the early 40s, you will start seeing slope. Okay? And especially a question, something like that, definitely be like in the 40s. So that's telling you, gives you an idea of where we're at. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. What is the x-coordinate of an x-intercept of the graph of y equals 3 times x minus 14 times x plus 5 times x plus 4 in the xy plane? So what is a x-coordinate of the x-intercepts of that graph? Okay, so Soul Justice is saying 5. Okay, Dabbing Darling is saying 14, -5, and -4. Is that Gianni? Is saying -5. Okay, they're actually giving you the x-intercepts. Show the graph. There's no graph. There's no graph. Okay. If this is algebra, it's advanced. Well, this is SAT. So SAT prep. Okay, Rambo is saying 14. Okay, Wallace has got 14, -5, -4. Okay, Jamie is saying 13. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Van. All right, Todd. Last question was standard. This question's a little advanced. This one? For SAT, it's about mid-range. It's not even, it's still easy. Not really mid-range. Okay. Okay. All right. So, Janice, are you still here? Can you just send a message in the screen? All right. Now, what we're seeing right here, this is called factored form. Okay? With factored forms, these are representing our x-intercepts. So they're just asking for what is an, so singular, x-coordinate. So all you're doing is you're looking at your parentheses. You can pick one of these three. Okay. Now, the way that you're doing it is almost like if you set them all to equal 0. Okay. Because when you have an x-intercept, unlike the y-intercept, your x-intercept is when your y value equals 0. So if I set them equal to 0, okay, all I have to do over here is add 14 to both sides. I would have to subtract 5 from both sides, and I would have to subtract 4 from both sides. So my x-intercept over here will be 14, which could be represented as 14 comma 0. Here my x is going to represent negative 5, where we have negative 5 comma 0. And then we have x is equal to negative 4, where we have negative 4 comma 0. So for those gave me 5, here's a quick tip. Always give the sign opposite what you see inside the parenthesis. So if you see a minus 14, that means your x-intercept is going to be a positive 14. If you see a positive 5, your x-intercept is going to be a negative 5. All right, thank you. And if you see a positive 4, that means your x-intercept is going to be a negative 4. Okay, inside the parenthesis, and all they needed was one of those three. So if you said 14, beautiful thing. If you said negative 5, beautiful thing. If you said negative 4, beautiful thing. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's take a gander. All right, so this one I'm definitely going to have to unzoom. All right. So we have a lovely curve. Okay, number of months after purchase is representing your x-axis, and the value in dollars is representing your y-axis. The graph shown shows the estimated values in dollars of a tablet of a function of the number of months since it was purchased. What is the best interpretation of the y-intercept of the graph in this context? Is it A, an estimated value of the tablet was $225 when it was purchased? B, the estimated value of the tablet 24 months after it was purchased was $225. C, the estimated value of the tablet has decreased by $225 in the 24 months after it was purchased. Or D, the estimated value of the tablet decreased by approximately 2.25% each year after it was purchased. A, B, C, or D? Of course. All right. So sorry, people. Had to remove somebody out of here. Okay, so let's take a look. So one, we're only looking at what does the y-intercept mean. Now, if you don't know what the y-intercept means, obviously it's going to be a little hard for you to understand this. The y-intercept is where the graph is crossing the y-axis. So let me kind of zoom in a little bit, or a lot. So here's the y-axis, goes up and down. And I'm noticing this dark graph is hitting right here. And it looks like it's between 200 and 250. So that's where they're getting that 225 from. Now, another name or phrase for you to use for the y-intercept is your starting point. It's usually where you start when you start graphing. Okay? So it's usually what happens in the very beginning at 0 months. Okay? So if we look at it, if I go down up, it's not being decreased by anything. So D is out. Okay. It's not being decreased. It's not being decreased, so it's not C and it's not D. This is not how much the tablet cost after it was purchased. Not after. It was when it was purchased. So basically the start. So that's the estimated value before you started using the tablet or purchased that. Okay. So your y-intercept is another way of saying your starting point, your starting value. If I started with $10 today, that means my 10 is going to be my y-intercept. Okay, that's why I got to start. Okay, you got that one? Awesome. So, like most exams and most tests, you're going to be doing a lot of reading. Okay? So, if anything, while we're doing like a quick tap, I just want to do a 1 minute quick tap. Whatever we get was whatever we get before I start with the next one. I just want to kind of give you guys a slight heads up. And what I mean by a heads up, because I know it's a Sunday morning. Some of you guys might be, getting yourself ready to do some lordly things or get ready for your football game, whatever happens, whatever floats your boat. But I just want to let you know that all of my replays, you go here, do a search for here, and I would love for you to do these things here. So all of my lives from February 2nd is going to be there. It's under TikTok Lives. I know the name is just so inventive. But you can just go there and then you can find all the lives, including the ones I did yesterday when we did a little bit with the ASVAB, with the, arithmetic reasoning. So a lot more of like the word problems. So if you need any additional assistance, you got to go there. Do you have it? Go look for it. There it is. So anything that I have done, slope, equation of the line, quadratics with the one person that asked for, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions. What else? Almost everything in algebra you can think of. System of equations, a little bit of geometry with area, perimeter, volume, surface area, a little bit with statistics. I did a little bit with standard deviation. So you got all that. Digital adaptive stuff. No, I do not. Sorry, too many tabs open. Okay, just subscribe. Thank you so much. All right. So this is where you can go to get the lives, just in case you can't stay for the whole time and you're like, oh, I really want to do this. That's what you can do for that. Now, I also have tutoring sessions available. If you are doing, maybe you're getting ready for your SAT prep. I think the next SAT is in November, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're stuck with, say, college algebra, you need some more assistance with your GED, your ASVAB prep, just go ahead and just shoot me a message. You can go straight to the profile. Okay. Yeah. You guys will be okay. Because fear is just the opposite side of excitement. So get excited, get it done, move on. All right? And the test does not define who you are as a person. Just, this is a thing that you have to jump through. All right, let's get it done so you can jump through the hoop and then you can live the life that you want to live. Okay? In the direction that you want to go. Because the only person that can make you go in that direction is you. All right? Now I'm going to get off my soapbox. Here we go. Well, thank you. All right, so we have triangles EFG and JKL are congruent, where EF and G corresponds with JKL. So that means E's with J, F's with K, and G is with L. The measure of angle E is 45 degrees, and the measure of angle F is 20. What's the measure of angle J? Is it A, 20 degrees, B, 45, C, 135, or D, 160? So I see a series of B's. I'm seeing some C's and B's. C's and B's, B's. B's, knees. Okay. Trey Square is saying E equals J. Okay. Big G Money's not sure. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. Okay. Antoine's with B. Taranda's with C. Megan with B. You know this? I know you know this. Go ahead, put it up there. What is your tutoring fees? My tutoring fee is the same throughout. I normally charge $92 for an hour for my sessions. But for my TikTok followers, I'm dropping it down to $77. Okay, so I'm letting you know ahead of time. I tried to do small groups with guys, but people don't want to do small groups. So here we are. Okay, so you're thinking. You don't have to think hard, blank space. You really don't have to think hard. All right. So we don't really have to draw out the triangles, but if you want to, you can. But they're telling you for triangle EFG, they're telling you that J, K, and L corresponds respectively. So whatever you get for E, you're going to get for J. Whatever you get for F, you're going to get for K. Whatever you get for G, you're going to get for L. So all they want to know is what is the measure of angle J. J is with E, and E is 45 degrees. So your answer is 45 degrees. Okay. Yeah, that's all we had to do. Okay. Yeah, thank you. You can't use photo math on the SAT. You can't use any of those apparatus. SAT, you can at least have a graphing calculator. And actually now they can use Desmos, but that's about it. But everything is going to be monitored. Yeah, I am serious. That's it. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, that's all I have to do. That is it. Yeah. Because since they have the word corresponds, that's basically going to be matching. That's basically going to be, and since it says congruent, that means your angles are going to be the same. All right. So the function f is defined by f of x equals 1/2 times x plus 6. What is the value of f of 4? Is it A, 20, B, 12, C, 10, or D, 5? Okay. Okay, so I have a whole series of D's here. Yes, real. Okay, with our 5, with our D. Okay, Brian saying 30 factorial. Okay. Brian saying 52 factorial. Brian's just losing his mind because we're not sure. Dark magic is like, is it not 5? Okay, so we got D's. We got D's. Addicted to success. Hello. Okay. Yeah, we got Victoria, David. Okay, we got those. Personal that. Mimi is saying D. Yes. So all we're doing, notice, for X and for the 4. The 4 and the X are in the same spots. So this is telling me wherever I see an X, I should replace it with a 4. So if we have our 1/2, instead of an X, we're going to put a 4. Okay. Now, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Let's take care of what's going on inside the parenthesis first. Okay, so 4 plus 6, that gives me 10. Now I need to take half of this 10, which gives me 5. And my answer will be D. All right. You don't want those horrible flashbacks? Oh, come on. You love it. You know why? Because you make a comment. See, here's my thing. When you comment on someone's page or someone's live, you're telling the algorithm, give me more of this. So you're just torturing your own self. Why am I actually a good teacher? Because I cared. Actually, let me put it this way. It's because I sucked at math when I was growing up. So like all the trials and tribulations that you guys are putting into the chat, I went through that. I had a teacher tell me that I was stupid. I had teachers that used to tell me go back where I came from. I've had teachers that put me in the corner and say, here, I want you to do all this work. I had teachers that just made algebra horrible for me because I didn't understand why are we putting letters and numbers together? Like, when did this happen? It's almost like, when did your best friend start dating your brother? What? Where was I during all of this? So I had to work. If I had to pass, I had to work it. I had my parents, God love them. My mom would say, ask your father. And my father would say, ask your mother when it came to math. So I had to sit down. We didn't have YouTube back then. Dude, I'm like 53 years old. So we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the freaking internet. We just had our, world's encyclopedia or Britannica encyclopedia back in the day. And that was about it. So, all right. So what do we have to do? Yep. So we all got to work through it. But we got to work through it step by step. So I take that pain and I bring it here. So I learn to take things slowly and break things down. So the graph of the system of the absolute value function and the linear function is shown. Okay, the absolute value function is the one that's a V. The linear function is the one that's a line. So what is the solution to the system of two equations? Well, anytime they ask for a solution, they want to know where are these two bad boys meeting? Where are they intersecting? And they're intersecting at this point. If I go down, I can find the x value. And the x value is going to be between -3 and -4. With that being said, A is gone. B is gone. Okay? And D will be gone because it's between -3 and -4. Watch. Okay? And then my y value is going to be between 4 and 5. But if the only one that's going to give me negative, a negative x, and a positive y, is going to be option C. Okay. Just saying good morning. Oh, Marbelli, good morning. Okay, good morning. Okay. So when they give you stuff like this in a graph, you want to see where it intersects. This is going to be your solution, where the absolute value and the linear line intersects, and they intersect at this point. So the point of intersection is always represented as order pairs. It's your x values, then your y values. So if I notice this point, if I try to find the x value, is going to be in between -3 and -4. Well, if I look at the x values of my choices, that's a 0. No, 0 is not between -3 and -4. Gone. Okay. B, it's a positive 7/2. We're looking at negative numbers. Gone. Okay. This is a negative number. Great, but it was a -3. We're looking at in between -3 and -4. Gone. That's why C is our answer. Yep, so it's in between the -3 and the -4. Oh, so let's take a look. If I do, remember, fractions is nothing but division. How many 2's can go into 7 without going over is 3. 3 times 2 gives me 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. If I want, put my decimal, got my 0, put my decimal up there. Instead of a 1, now it's a 10. How many 2's can go into 10? 5. And then since it was negative, boom, -3.5. And what's in between -3 and -4 is -3.5. Okay. Okay. So we're just doing it, breaking it down step by step. All right. Let me unzoom. Okay. So here's our equation. We have y equals 6x plus 3. One of the two equations in the system of linear equations is given. The system has infinitely many solutions. Which equation could be the second equation in this system? A equals y equals 2 times 6x plus 3. Y equals, for B, y equals 2 times 6x plus 3. Or C, 2y, 2 times y equals 2 times 6x plus 3. Or D, 2y is equal to 2 times 6x plus 3. So for people that haven't seen systems in a minute, it's okay to put a question mark. Okay, you haven't seen this in a minute. Okay, so I'm seeing some A's, some B's, some D's. Okay, for this one, advanced algebra 1 for us. I know, and that's the weird thing. I feel like I should stop asking those questions, because I'll have teachers from other districts and they're like, no, we don't do that yet. And I'm like, well, in Maryland we do. So all I can do is reflect on what we currently do here in Maryland. So like honors algebra 1, algebra 2. We usually see systems. Okay. Where did the 2 come from? It came with the problem. All right, so we're thinking A's, we're thinking D's, we're thinking B's. What pen am I using? Sharpie. Just regular old Sharpie pens. Okay. A's, D's, C's. All right, so I think we went through every letter of the alphabet. Here we go. So first, we need to know, what does it mean to have infinitely many solutions? That is the kicker. Okay, that's definitely the kicker. So infinitely many solutions. That means your two lines are going to be exactly the same. Okay, so your two lines are going to be exactly the same. So that means the other equation that we're going to be looking for, the second equation, needs to equal y equals 6x plus 3. So when you have infinitely many solutions, it's almost like I have this line and the second line is going to be right over top of it. So it's basically the same line. So that means your equation should be exactly the same. So which of these four choices, once you do a little modification, will give you y equals 6x plus 3? Okay, now I'm starting to see a couple C's. Now I'm starting to see more D's. Okay, a lot more D's. Okay, definitely a lot more D's. Good. Okay, so the reason why they're saying D's, because if I divide both sides, because remember, 2 times y means multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. If I divide both sides by 2, these 2's will cancel out, as well as these 2's. So now I got y equals 6x plus 3. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So my answer will be D. Because if I try to pick C, I have 2y and then I have 2 times 6x. This will give me 12. Divide both sides by 2. That will give me my 6x back. But I have to divide the 3 by 2 as well. That's not giving me a whole number of 3. Okay. If I distribute the 2 to everything in here, it's basically doubling everything and it's not going to match up. And on here, they're just multiplying the 2 with the 6x. That gives me 12x plus 3. And we want 6x plus 3. And the reason why they said the system has infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions means that the lines are basically laying on top of each other. You ever see kids when you have them stand in line, you always say, I want to see one head. That means everyone should be perfectly straight. I don't know. Maybe it was a thing that we used to say back in the day. Okay. Yep. All right. Let's go with the next one. All right. If 6/7 p plus 18 equals 54, what is the value of 7p? If 6/7 p plus 18 equals 54, what is the value of 7p? It's already out there, Slick. I know. We're all over it. I know, Katie. It's almost like when you look at some of these papers, did they know that trend was going to come out? Because I feel like I say it 4 or 5 times a session. It cracks me up. All right. Yep. So we have to figure out what P equals first. Okay. So we're not substituting the 7 into this equation. That's what we're not going to do. We need to solve this equation first for P. Okay, that's the first thing you should do. Okay, not a problem, beef. Okay. Okay, so addicted to success. Got my 42. A person from another Mercer saying 294. Okay. All right. Times both sides by that. Okay, so we got 294, we got 22, we got 294. Okay, got 294s. Some people are giving me decimals. That's very interesting. Okay, 294. RJ's giving me a 42. Maverick's giving me a 63. Kev is giving me a 42. Okay. Oh, we will. I just want to give people a chance to see what they can do first. Okay, 276. Okay, just me's a little lost. Okay, I got you. All right, so the 294s. Yep, that's what you gotta do. Okay. Oh, don't give up. Don't give up. Okay. Let's take a gander. All right, first, let's tackle our equation. So we have 6/7 P, and we're going to subtract the 18. So that's the very first thing you should do, because that means 6/7 P is going to equal to what, 36? Yeah. Okay. Now, we want to get rid of this fraction because we want to get P by itself. And I know 6/7 P, you would divide both sides by 6/7. Why? No. Do this. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Okay? The reason why you do that, because 7 divided by 7 will give me 1. 6 divided by 6 will also give me 1. And what's left over is our P. Now, we don't have to change it to a decimal, because if you multiply a whole number with a fraction, you always put that whole number over 1. Turn it into a fraction. It's not devaluing the 36. It's just making it easier for you to handle it with the fraction. So now you have something called cross simplify. So that means this 36 can be divided by 6. 36 divided by 6 will give me 6. So that 6 is now 1. This 36 now 6. So now multiply the remaining numerators. 6 times 7 gives me 42. And it would be 42 over 1, but we don't need it to be over 1, because anything divided by 1 is itself. But we are not done, because we want to know the value of 7P. So 7P means 7 times P. So that means we got 7 times our P, which we found is 42. So now 7 times that 42 gives us our 14 carried to 1, 28, and this gives me 29. So 294. All right. Because once people, and this is why dark equinox, the reason why I go through all of these steps is because people like to see the steps. Okay. Do I know that there's multiple ways of doing it and I can do it a lot faster? Of course. I've been doing it. Well, I will be doing it in the next couple hours because I got a tutoring session. But this is basically what's happening. Okay? So I just like to show. You forgot to multiply? Okay. Yep. You can multiply by its reciprocal. Yep. So when you are trying to divide a fraction, don't do that. Oh, thank you. That's cute. Okay. Whenever you're trying to divide a fraction, it's so much easier when you try to multiply its reciprocal. Reciprocal means flip. Okay. So in math, we would say flip. So instead of multiplying by 6/7, you're going to multiply by 7/6. So you can cancel out and get rid of that fraction on that side. So your variable can be by itself. Okay. All right. So now, whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Just follow what's in red. And then anytime you multiply a fraction with the whole number, make the whole number into a fraction. Okay? You will get the same answer if you just multiply straight across. But I tried to do a lot of the simplifying because when you guys get into the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACERs, you guys cannot use a calculator. Okay, so you're really going to have to know your division properties. You're going to need to know your multiplication facts. You're going to need to know them to a T. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's get with this. The barons, I'm going to show it again after this question. If you stay with me for a bit, I can show you where all my replays are. Okay. Do I work through trig identities personally or today? Okay, cool. I love using substitution on systems. Personally, sometimes I do it for my pre-calc kids. But if you're thinking like for calculus, I don't really do calculus too much. Recognizing them? Oh, okay. Actually, I'll show you something in a second. Okay, so we have our system. Our system. Y equals 9x plus 12. X plus 7y equals 20. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. What is the value of y? Okay. So we could, since they're already telling us what y equals, we can take that 9x plus 12 and substitute it for the y in the second equation. All right, thanks for checking in. All right, so this is what it looks like. Let's see how far I can go over here. So we have x plus 7. I'm going to put some stuff in our parentheses. Is equal to 20. Then we have our 9x plus 12. Okay. Since they already told me what y equals, we can do that. Or I could have solved the bottom equation for y and substitute in the top. Either way, you're going to get the same answer eventually. I think this way is just going to be a little bit longer. I think it's going to be a lot longer, to be honest with you. But I stay committed to it. So we have our x plus 7 times 9. That gives me my 63x. Plus 7 times 12. That gives me 84. All right. Now, right here, I got like terms. I got like terms, and I need to move this 84 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract the 84. And I'm going to combine my like terms all in the same go. So 1x plus 63x, that gives me 64x. And the 20 minus the 84, that gives me a negative 64. So if 64x equals negative 64, that means x has to equal negative 1. But they don't want to know the value of x. They want to know what is the value of y. So what we could do, since this top equation is already set up for us, our y equals, instead of an x, we can put that negative 1. Nine times negative 1, that gives me a negative 9, plus 12. So that will give me a whopping 3. This is your answer. Yeah, it would have been easier if I solved the bottom equation for x, but you're going to get the same answer. Okay, yep. All right. So before I get to the next one, for the people that are tapping, I greatly appreciate you. Yep, substituting back and forth in calculus. Yep. Now, for those that are just coming in and you're like, oh, I didn't see the whole thing. Can you repeat the whole thing? No. All right. So this is what you're going to do. Give me, as soon as the live is over, give me a few minutes, maybe close to like an hour. All right. If you go here and you go here, all of my TikTok lives, all the replays are going to be there in a playlist that says TikTok lives. I know it's really deep, inventive with the name. If you can do all 5 of these, that would greatly be appreciated. You'll get notifications of when I do upload the live, so it'll be a lot easier for you. So everything that I've done since I've been on TikTok, February the 2nd, is all listed there. So anything from linear equations, fractions, decimals, percents, graphing, slope, system of equations, all of that is all listed in there. Okay. Yep. I normally go live every day. So this person is like obsessed with me. Good gracious. All right. Okay, you're so welcome. All right, I was waiting for the parents to say anything. So like if your son, your daughter, all that stuff, yeah, everything is all there. Okay. All right. Let's do a few more. Okay. So number 15. All right, so this is going to be tough. This one's going to definitely be challenging. This is when, especially if you're taking the SATs, around the 14, maybe 15 question mark, that's when they start amping things up a bit. Okay, no longer the ones that we've done were considered easy. Okay, this one's not too technical, but it's definitely This is why I hate PSATs, especially if you're taking Algebra 2 and you haven't gotten to the definition of a circle. How can you take it on the PSAT if you haven't learned it yet? But that's just me. All right, a circle in the XY plane has the equation x minus 13 squared plus y minus k squared equals 64. Which of the following gives the center of the circle and its radius? Okay, so they're breaking down the definition of the circle. So, is it A, the center, is it A, B, C, or D? Yeah, I already blocked them. Thanks, Katie. I keep blocking them and they keep coming back with a different thing. And I don't know why. And then plus, they probably know that they've changed their algorithm. Yep, you're taking the PSATs in 10th grade. Have you already completed Algebra 2? Real. I know. I keep telling them stop showing my ass on this thing. Gotta have a sense of humor sometimes, people. No? Okay, so there's going to be stuff on the PSAT that you may not experience because you're probably currently in that class. So, yeah. You won't see this because now they have an actual PSAT for 10th graders. But there's going to be some stuff. Yep. Yeah. And you haven't experienced all of geometry yet. So it's kind of like you're going to see some stuff in there. Like, what is that? So don't freak out. Because the one that really matters when it comes to PSATs is your 11th grade one. That's when you can get scholarships because that's the one that the colleges actually look at for scholarships and such. Okay. All right. And just, I know. It sucks the life out of you. It sucks the life out of you. No problem. Okay. And you took yours? Yep. I know. I have to get, a couple of my kids in Puerto Rico is taking theirs on Wednesday. So, yeah. It's all kinds of cray-cray. It's all right. Trust me. You'll be fine. All right, so here we go. The form is always like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So this is the definition of a circle. Okay. Now, just like I mentioned before, inside the parenthesis, you always do opposite what you see. So your h and your k, they represent the radius of the they represent the center of the circle. Your r represents the radius. Now, they're giving us the x value of the center of the circle, which is a positive 13. You always do opposite what you see in the parenthesis. So since it's a positive 13, right away I'm looking at my answer choices and I'm getting rid of B and C because they're saying my K is the first value. It's part of my X's and I do opposite, so it's a positive 13. So now the difference between these two, this one is saying my radius is 8 and this one is saying my radius is 64. So when I look at the 64 is matched up with the r squared. So right now we're seeing r squared is 64. We want to know what the radius is, just 1r. What do I have to do to this in order for me to get r by itself? Yes, okay, definitely got to take the square root. Good. So if we take the square root, what's the square root of 64? Thank you, user, is 8. So my answer is going to be A. So it's a placement thing. Okay. Well, I'm glad your feeling is relaxing. All right. Well, once you know what the process is, it's not that bad. Okay. Okay, yours is tomorrow? Awesome. Perfect place to come in. Right. All right. So the function f is defined by f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 4x. What value of a satisfies f of 5 minus f of a equals negative 15? Okay, so we're starting to intensify a little bit. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. Okay, you've gotten A instead of C. Okay, you're saying A with a question mark? You don't have to cry. It's okay. This is the place to make errors. You know, that's what I'm saying. Hell, we didn't come out the womb knowing all this stuff. No, it takes some time. Yes. Yeah, childhood trauma. Trust me, I know. I know. Okay, with the Ramona, yes. So just me, yes, we are going to be doing some substituting. Okay. I know. So take it step by step. All right, so let's take a look. So they're telling us we have the absolute value of x minus 4x. So we have basically two substitutions that's happening. So the first substitution, we're going to substitute 5 in for the original. So I'm going to write, absolute value of 5 minus 4 times 5. What do I get inside the absolute value? Tell me what the answer is inside the absolute value. Okay, we got 15s, we got 1s, we got 5s. We got 15s, we got negative 20s, negative 15s. Got 15s, negative 15s, 25s, 9s. Woo! Okay, here we go. Order of operation. All right, we have to get this down more than anything. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. From left to right. Okay, when we're solving this, You are not saying, oh, 5 minus 4, that's 1. 1 times 5, that gives me 5. No. Okay? Multiplication always comes before addition and subtraction. So you have your 4 times 5, that gives you 20. So you have 5 minus 20. So 5 minus 20, that will give me a negative 15. So the absolute value of negative 15 is 15. Because remember, it's always going to be positive. It's the distance away from 0. Okay, so that 15 is going to be positive. What's the help? What's wrong? Yep. It's just like that. BODMAS. Yep. Okay. Why did I say negative 4 times 5? Multiplication always comes before addition or subtraction. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or BODMAS. Okay. I know 15 is not the answer. Oh, I'm not done. Oh, no. Okay. So that's why negative 4 times 5 gave me a negative 20. And 5 minus 20, that's where negative 15 came from. The absolute value of negative 15 is 15. So now I can replace, looking at this equation up here, I'm going to replace the 15 with our equation of f of a equals negative 15. Let me slide that over so you can see it. Okay. All right. Why did it turn negative? It didn't turn negative. We're looking at this equation. So all we did was we replaced the 15 for the f of 5, because that's what we got as an answer. Then we have our negative f of a equals negative 15. So if I go into solving, I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides. So I have negative f of a is equal to negative 30. But we all know that a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive. Okay. So we solved for the f of 5. Now we got to do the f of a. So we're going to take our a's. You're like, there's more? I'm like, yep, there is more. Because now we're getting to the bottom part of it. So if we have the f of a, that means the absolute value of a minus 4a And this time, we know what f of a equals. F of a equals 30. And when you're solving an absolute value, we need to write it representing the positive and the negative. So a minus 4a is going to represent one equation, and the 30 equals a negative 30. A minus 4a minus 30. So this is when it comes down to solving with absolute values. If you, I don't know when you came in, but if you came in and you saw that if I had a negative 4 and a positive 4 that are absolute values, my answer is always going to be a positive number. So I need to represent the positive side and the negative side. So in order for me to do this, combining like terms, which are my a's, which will give me a negative 3a, if I divide both sides by negative 3, I get negative 10 as my a. That's one possible solution. But we don't have a negative 10. So that means I need to come over here. Combine my like terms here. I got negative 30 is equal to negative 3a. Divide both sides by negative 3. I get a is equal to a positive 10. That's going to be my answer. Too many rules. I know. That's what happens. When you get into it, there's going to be tons of rules. There's rules for solving equations. There's some rules for solving inequalities. There's rules for solving absolute values. There's rules for solving polynomials. There's rules for solving quadratics. There's rules for simplifying exponents. Yep, tons of rules. But one true answer, yes. Okay. All right, yes. All that for just one problem. Yep. Okay. So Kev, the reason why you have a negative 30, because positive, the absolute value of positive 30 and the absolute value of negative 30 will give you the same answer of 30. So you need to represent both sides to see which one will give you your true answer. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get 17. Might just have to get 17 done for today. Yeah, because I got to wrap up and get myself ready for my clients. Okay, you have PSAT on Thursday? Okay. Like in English. All right. So, for the exponential function of f, the value of f of 0 is c, where c is a constant. Of the following equations that define the function f, which equation shows the value of c as the coefficient or the base? So, is it A, B, C or D? So the f of 0 is C. So if I plug 0 in for x, I should get a constant out. Which one will show me, or which one will give me a constant, a whole number, no x or y next to it? Would it be A, B, C, or D? Okay, so I'm seeing some B's. Yeah, I can't, because I gotta get my peoples together. That's how I, keep my house, keep the electricity going, pay for the Wi-Fi. TikTok doesn't pay for any of that. You guys give gifts, which is awesome, but TikTok takes about 52% of that, so yeah. But anyway, yes, thank you. Electricity is overrated. But you're using it right now, aren't you? Oh my goodness. Oh my word. All right, so which one will give me an answer that is a constant? Well, if we take a look, I know adulting. Tell me about it. Well, things are getting better. Here I go. Things are definitely getting better because my basement is no longer flooded. I'm just trying to clean all that fun stuff out of there. So far, I have a roof over my head. I'm not, bills are doing what the bills can do, but here we go. All right. So if I plug a 0 in for the x's, so for this one, if I plug a 0 in, that means it's being raised to the first power. But then I have 22 times 1.5. Well, anything raised to the first power is going to be itself. But it's not really giving me a constant. It's still giving me some kind of decimal stuff. But if I plug 0 in, so it shows the value of the constant as a coefficient or a base. So if I plug the 1 in, I still have this base and I still have that. It can't be both. But when I plug the 0 in for B, anything raised to the 0 power is what? But something that's going to be as a coefficient or a base. Okay, so if I'm saying 0, unknown is saying 1. Okay, Katie 0, soccer for life is saying 1. Okay, 1, 1, 0. All right, anything raised to the 0 power is 1. Okay, so we have 33, and I'm looking at B. I got my 1.5. If I raise it to the 0 power, that means whatever is being raised to the 0 power, which is my 1.5, is actually going to equal 1. So now 33 times 1 gives me 33. And 33 could be a coefficient, or 33 could be a base, but I don't have anything left over. So basically what this question is asking, what will cancel something out and just leave me with a whole number? And the answer has to be B. Because if I plug 0 in here, I got a -1. That's going to give me fractions, all kinds of stuff. If I plug a 0 in here, I'm going to get a -2. That's just as bad, right? I mean, when I plug a 0 in here, I got a 1, but I still have this 1.5 as a base. And we want something that's either going to be a coefficient or a base. We can't leave both of those options up to par. Okay, yeah, that's why. All right. Okay, so there'll be more fun and entertainment. As you all know, there's always more fun and entertainment. I guess that's why you come back, not just for the math. But if you are interested, I'll flash this up again because I don't know when people are coming in and coming out. But give me some chance, give me a little bit of chance to upload probably in the next 3, maybe 4 hours. I'll see if I can do it in between. Just go here. And if you guys can do this, that would be amazing. You'll actually see a playlist that says TikTok Lives. So all of my lives will be presented there. If you are in need of any services of tutoring, again, I say my tutoring sessions are $77 for an hour, okay, for 1-to-1. If you guys have a group and you want to put a group together, hey, go ahead. Get the Supremes together. Get Destiny's Child together. Get the Doobie Brothers together. Do what you got to do. And then you say, hey, Audrey, we got a group of 6 that we really want to do like college algebra, or we really want to do the ASVAB, or we really want to do the GED. You guys put it together. You message me. And if I set aside time, I'll set aside time for us to work. Okay? So that's going to be up to you. And that is at a discounted rate. That's a group rate. So if you want to do courses that self-paced, I do have courses that self-paced that does help you with all the math concepts, GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, HESI test. Maybe you're homeschooling and you're dealing with foundations of algebra. This will be your best bet, okay? But if you have something in particular, you can go for those. And you can register for those there. Okay, and that's usually 107 questions videos. Each of the videos is like 20 minutes long, so it's really detailed, just like how I would do for the lives. All right. I know, right? I know, right, Lika? That's what I'm saying. Right. What is it that you need? Because you're not going to get it. Because eventually where I'm going to be, I just want to ignore. Just say it's not my ass. I'm not doing any kind of porn and all that stuff. But I know TikTok will flag me in a heartbeat. If it's someone of my repetitors or my competitors that just wants me to go away, guess what, boo-boo? I'm not going anywhere. You can try. I mean, you can kick me out of TikTok, but guess where I'm going to go? Right here. And that's a lot easier and more stricter to kick people out of their lives. Alrighty? Okay. Well, you are smart, pretty dead. You are smart. Okay? I know. Someone just needs a hug, you know. They didn't get enough breast milk when they were a child. I don't know. We can't control their upbringing, but all I can do is just help support as much as I can. All right, everyone, have a lovely rest of your day on Sunday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and just, breaking down concepts and everything. I will be back on tomorrow. Looking at the times that I might have open, I might be able to get in here by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Unless I get somebody that pops up. But that's what I'm going to be shooting for. Okay? All right. Not a problem. Have an amazing day. And PM. Yeah, real. Knowing me. Yeah, that is a good question, actually. But hopefully I'll be able to get some sleep, this time. Instead of being up all night doing what I need to do. All right. All right, everyone. Oh, please don't leave. I have to leave, but I know. Okay. Take care now. Have a great day. Be safe. Bye now.